Hey everybody, Icy Cat here. Today the Season 4 patch notes are out, so we know everything we're going to be getting tomorrow when the new season launches. If you want to know more about all the details, then stick around and I'll let you know. These are the patch notes for the Season 4 update that goes live tomorrow, Thursday, November 17th. Now at that time, we will get the new map and all the new gameplay features available for everybody, regardless if they have Season Pass or not. If you have Season Pass, you will have access to the two new operators, Echo and Hibana, right away. If you don't, you will have to wait until Thursday, November 24th. Then you will have the chance to unlock those two operators for 25,000 renown each, or 600 rainbow credits. But even if you don't have the Season Pass, you'll still get the map and all the gameplay features before then. So in the background, we're just taking a look at the new trailer for the season that dropped today. This just kind of highlights the new map and the operators. So what else can we expect? Well, there's a bunch of new skins coming. There are 5 Red Crow signature skins, and these are going to be things that you can look for in the shop. Next up, we have a new feature called the Elite Customization Series. These are sets that include a matching uniform, headgear, an operator card. You'll also get a charm, an operator name, and a signature victory animation. So these are the victory poses that we've been seeing since the demo this weekend. Now it sounds like we're only going to get a few of these to begin with, and the initial ones are going to be for Capcan, Sledge, and Thermite. So those 3 will be the only ones that will have these new elite uniform sets available initially. I imagine that the other operators will probably be introduced over time during the course of this season, and we'll just kind of see those filter in slowly. But initially, we've got these 3 operators. The gameplay feature that we're going to be getting, we already know about. It's the caliber-based destruction, so that will be a tool that will kind of help with just making firefights seem more intense as bigger chunks of the wall are ripped out. Different sizes in the caliber of the bullets will rip out larger pieces of the wall, and when those shots are clustered together, the chunks that they rip out will be proportionately larger as well. Then there's battle dress uniforms. So these are kind of like what the elite sets are, but the elites are like a set of all of those features, whereas this is specifically just talking about the uniform itself. And these are a new way to customize the way the operators look. And again, here we are only seeing a reveal of some of them initially, not all of them. If you have a season pass, you'll get exclusive uniforms for both of the new Japanese operators. Hibana and Echo will get alternate uniforms if you have the season pass. They'll also be introducing uniforms for the following operators: for Capito, Caveira, Ash, Sledge, Thatcher, Mute, and Smoke. And this will be available in the in-game shop for everybody. No word on if that'll be renown or rainbow credit based. Again, the other operators that aren't mentioned, I would assume that they will phase those in over time throughout the course of this season. Then we move on to game balancing. So they talk about there's been some problems with inconsistent headshots and some inconsistent body damage. And there's a few updates that are coming to that. So now they're going to make sure that they include necks in the headshot hitbox. So, you know, we've all seen that where you look like you've gotten a headshot off on somebody. The kill cam freezes, you got killed. The kill cam freezes on the person that you just shot. Their head is tilted backward like they've been hit in the head with a giant blood splatter behind them, and yet they are the one that killed you and they're still alive. Why did that happen if it's a one-shot headshot? Well, what probably happened was you got a neck shot. And they talk about how when a player was hit in the neck, it would not do the same thing as a headshot would do, although it would look like it with the head snap back in the blood pool. Well, now they've made it so that if you hit somebody in the neck, it will count as a headshot, and I think that should have been the case all along. There's also some clarification for arm shots. So there was a multiplier on arms if you hit them in the limbs. So on the arms, they would have a 0.75 damage multiplier, whereas the chest was a 1 point damage multiplier, so it's just flat straight damage. If you hit them in the arm, you know, depending on how the arms are moving and the way it looks on the kill cam, or you know what you're seeing through your sights, it could look like you registered a torso hit, but it really hit an arm. Now they've just made it simple, so if you hit him in the arm, it still counts as a torso hit. You're getting the 1 times damage multiplier. This is all just attempts to increase consistency across the board. Then we've got some weapon balancing. The big one, and this is a hot topic on the subreddit and the forum right now, is the SMG-11 is losing its ACOG. Now this comes from the fact that they never intended for the secondary weapons to be used as a primary, and we've seen that with Smoke, and to a lesser degree Sledge have been used in kind of this role where they will get the secondary SMG as kind of like their primary weapon. And the SMG-11 has been nicknamed the Pocket Sniper. Well, this was never their intention to do, so it's going to lose the ACOG. And here's the interesting thing. Because they know you spent renown to purchase that attachment and now they're taking it away, they're going to refund everybody who had it unlocked. So you'll get those couple hundred renown back. They've also seen that Quevera has a little bit less of a win and pick ratio than they would like, so to help counter that, they're increasing the damage that her pistol does. It keeps the same damage at short and point blank ranges, but what happens is in its medium ranges, it kind of like gets a little bit less fall off penalty. It's not much. We're talking about the difference between like a shot or two depending on the range, and the extreme range is still like a ridiculous amount of shots that it will take to drop somebody, unless of course there's a headshot. That's always a one-shot drop. They're also reducing damage to Blackbeard's MK17 CQB, so this is like his Scar assault rifle. And Capito is also getting a little bit of a damage adjustment to his assault rifle as well. So these were both some hard-hitting assault rifles that are getting a little bit of a reduction to help bring them into a little bit more balance. The other change that's occurring is the GSG9 Recruit used to have 3 barbed wire, and now they're bringing that back down to 2, so it's in line with all of the other Recruit operators. Next up is the category of game health, and we're seeing some changes to the way player skill and matchmaking is going to be used. So previously, the way it worked was that players' seniority was kind of factored into the matchmaking system. In other words, if you've been playing the game for a long time, there's an expectation that you're going to be much better than a new player. And while that is true by and large, it's hard to gauge the degree to which that applies. You can be playing the game for a really long time and be a very average player. They're trying to base it more on the direct representation of the skill. As usual, when we go into a new season, there is a hard reset on everybody's ranks, so you will have to play 10 matches to discover your rank. Then after the completion of your 10th ranked match, you'll discover what your rank is so far based on that, and you'll go from there. Now, hopefully this leads to a better matchmaking experience overall, and you will still get paired against people of higher or lower ranks than you just because of, that's the way matchmaking works, and depending on the volume of players on it at any given time and what the availability is and their connection speeds, and there's so many factors that go into it. So if you're a silver, you may occasionally still find yourself placed up against a platinum or something like that if you're in casual. I mean, that's going to happen, but what they're saying is hopefully this kind of thing will happen a little bit less often and for better reasons. Another improvement to the game is the weekly in-game challenge system. So I think we can all agree that the weekly in-game challenges have been ridiculously easy. I mean, get 3 wins as an attacker, play 2 rounds as a defender, play 5 rounds as GSG9. It's like, these are just like, okay, yeah, that doesn't really take any skill. It's just a matter of you play a few games and you will get it. So it sounds like they've reevaluated that process and they're going to be making them a little bit more challenging to go after. A big change coming to ranked is that it is now going down to a 3-minute ranked time. They say the reason for that is that they've noticed that the attacking team tends to have an advantage on lower levels, but the defense has a higher advantage at more skilled levels. And, when you're playing ranked, that's a little bit more skilled than the casual playlist tends to be. Again, we're talking generalities here. So by putting a little bit more pressure on the time clock, they're hoping to kind of reinstate a little bit of that balance. Although this is something that honestly, if you ask the community about, 50% will probably love it and 50% will probably hate it. There's not going to be any changes right now to casual. Now, they do say that this is just a test. They're trying it out. So if they get a lot of feedback that, no, people don't like this, it just changed the game in a way that they didn't care for, they're open to changing it back, in future updates. Other than that, we have a list of gameplay fixes, and I'm not going to get into all of these. You can go on to the official blog, the forums, the subreddit, whatever, and find these if you want to go over all of the fixes to the game yourself, but we'll just hit on a few of them here. So one thing that's been changed is the operator down but not out invulnerability state is too long. They're kind of reducing that so it's not as much when you kind of have that DBNO and then you stand up again. An interesting change was that the PMM Makarov didn't have as many bullets in the magazine as intended, so that's been changed. They now have an increased ammo count there. This is one that's been kind of driving me nuts, is impact grenades, while a cool addition to the game, would not consistently break walls. Sometimes it punched through one part of the wall, but not through the other side. Well, they've apparently made some changes to that, and that will now be working as intended. There's been a big problem of rubber banding when you go through a breached wall. So if you knock out a hole in a wall with thermite and then you try to run through it and you have that like snapback effect, whatever's behind that, they apparently found it and fixed it. This will be interesting to see how well it plays out, but apparently wood debris getting stuck on the edges of destructible surfaces is something that they've taken care of so that really doesn't happen as much. I mean, I know I would make some murder holes and I'd get this stupid plank of wood that just wouldn't get out of the way even though it was detached from the wall and it was just sort of stuck there. So hopefully that kind of thing will be happening a lot less. We'll have to see. There's also a glitch where if you place the diffuser on a reinforced hatch, but then somebody destroyed the wooden hatch from underneath, it would kind of like drop into it and it would cause this weird thing where you would lose. And so they've made it so that that doesn't happen anymore. Now, if it still goes on a wooden hatch and you blow the wooden hatch and it actually does fall through because, you know, now it's just a hole in the floor, well, that's different. But this is like where the reinforced hatch would still be there, but the wooden hatch would get destroyed and it would fall through the solid reinforced hatch. So hopefully that won't be happening anymore. Sounds like there's been further work on Thermite's exothermic charges where they weren't entirely blowing up a wall, and that's been refined a little bit. That's something that we've been hearing the last couple of patches though, so I hope that that problem is really fixed this time. There's a bug where when you would have a Kapkan trap on a door, if Ash's breaching round hit the barricade, it wouldn't destroy the laser trap, and so now it will actually do that like it's supposed to. Here's a cool one for Kveda. Interrogating an enemy that was put into a down but not out state by a teammate will not award them with the kill assist. So now, if you put somebody into that state, Kveda gets the interrogation, you will get a team assist for that. There's also been some fixes in regards to map design. So there were some points where you could knock over like a potted plant or a tree or something like that in an obscure place to go through. An example of this would be in the hallway in Cafe. This would be right outside the kitchen on the ground floor. There was a tree there that you could knock over and you like couldn't get past it. Well, apparently that glitch has been fixed now, and if there's any others like it, they should be taken care of as well. Here's another one I'm a little bit skeptical on until I actually see it play out. They say, yet again, this is like, I don't know how many times now they've said this, but that light coming from outside the building will not blind or hinder players inside. Again, I'm skeptical, but we'll see. Then there's a bunch of fixes that address specific glitches or things that are happening on very specific kinds of maps. I'm not going to get into all of those. Again, if you want to see the full list, you can go online and check it for yourself. While I would love to give you the breakdown of every single bug fix, there's literally pages worth of them, so I'm not going to get into them all here. This would add another 20 minutes onto the video if I did, and I'm not going to do that. So once again, these patch notes are what came out today for patch update 5.0, which is season 4. I know that naming convention is a little confusing, and hopefully when they get into year 2, they stop doing that because the patch update is one whole number ahead of the season you're in, and it gets a little confusing. But patch 5.0 will go live tomorrow when season 4 launches, no matter what platform you're on. Once again, if you have season pass, you'll get access to the 2 new operators right away. If you don't have season pass, you'll have to wait until the following Thursday, the 24th, to gain access to them. You can pick them up for Renown or Rainbow credits at that point. But whether you have a season pass or not, everybody gets the new map and the new features tomorrow. Now, when that content does go live very soon thereafter, I'll be putting together operator profiles, breaking down the information of how they work and how best to use them. We're going to be talking about the new map, Skyscraper, and all the best places to hold down the objectives or to assault them if you're on the other side, where everything is, and how best to get around. I'll also, of course, be doing reviews for any of the new premium cosmetic options, so if that's something that you have to pay real money for and you can't preview before you buy it, you can count on a review of that content from me so that you know to make an informed decision whether or not it's something you want to pick up. So to make sure you're up to date on all of that, please like and subscribe. You can also follow me over at IcyCat25 on either Facebook or Twitter. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time.